Hey guys, this is Bhavya Sharma here and welcome back to the Med Concepts with Bhavya. Today's video is the part 3 video of the lung anatomy series, and in this video we would be learning about how to draw this diagram, which is the roots of the lung diagram, in an easy way and how to remember it for a long period of time. As promised, we would be just learning this diagram and we would not be digging into anything else. So, without any further ado, let's get into the video. First thing first, before digging into this video, I would like you to go and check out the part 1 and part 2 video, specifically the part 2 video, in which we are talking about the contents of the roots of the lung, and then only you will be able to understand the diagram properly. So it is my very humble request to first go through the second part of the video, that is the second part of lung anatomy series, and then come back to this video. So now, what exactly are we going to do here? Roots of the lungs. Since we know there are two lungs, we have two roots. So right root of the lung, left root of the lung. Okay, so it is the right root and this is the left root. Now here I have made a diagram with pencil and I would be going step by step to how we would be making this diagram, and also I would be teaching the labelings of this diagram, that is each content of the diagram has its own name, and I would be also taking you through the labeling. Now what is this cross? This cross is for finding out which is anterior side, which is the posterior side, and the superior and inferior side of the diagram. Because if you do not know anterior, posterior, superior, inferior parts, then definitely you are going to confuse and you are going to write reciprocal of what you have to write, or you may mistake somewhere or the other. Okay, so first of all we will go through this thing and then we will go through the diagram making and labeling. So first of all, one thing that will be common in both the right side and the left side is this part is superior, this part is inferior for both right and left. Okay, so superior part of the left side, superior part of the right side, and then inferior part of the right side, inferior part of the left side. So one thing is common. So this is for the right diagram, okay, and this is for the left side. So this direction diagram is for the left root of lung, that is for this one, so it is in this side, do not confuse, and this is for the right side. So that is one common thing: superior, inferior, superior and inferior. So how would you remember which side is anterior and which side is posterior? So if you see, this diagram looks like a P shape, right? So this is P and this is the inverted P, right? So this diagram exactly looks like a P. P for potato. That is what I'm saying, the P alphabet. So the bulged part or the circular part of the P is your anterior side on both the sides. So this is the anterior side for left root of lung and this is the anterior side for right root of lung. So we'll mark that first. So first, coming to the right side, the bulged part is this one. So this is the anterior side. So A for anterior. So obviously the flat part would be posterior, right? But we'll come to that later. And here in the right side, the bulged part is this side. So this is the anterior side. Now, obviously, if the bulged part is anterior, the opposite side or the flat part would be posterior. So P on the left side, and on the right side same thing, this is the flat part, so posterior. So now when we are done with the areas, when we properly know which is the which side, that is which is anterior or which is posterior, superior or inferior, it will be easy for us to draw the diagram. Now let's go into the drawing and labeling of the diagram. The very first thing that we would be doing here is outlining the outline, which is the P. I told you, no, it is looking like a P. So we will outline that for both the diagrams. So first of all, when you're going to the exam hall, if you do not remember how to make the diagram, always remember the root of lung is a P. Okay, a big fat P. So I'll draw this also and come back. Now talking about the contents that we see in both the root of lungs, there is some similarities and most of the content are similar, but there are some differences also. So I have made a tableau column for that. So first we'll go through that. Please focus on the highlighted region. Okay, so we'll keep this aside and we'll focus on this. Okay, so now what I want you to focus on is the highlighted part. The highlighted parts or the contents are the only contents that are different in the right lung and left lung. Remaining, except for that, everything is similar and in same amount in both the roots of lung. Please do not get confused. I am repeating again. Please go and see the part 2 video of the lung anatomy before going or digging deep into the diagram. In total, you have 7 contents that you would be drawing in this particular diagram. Okay, so there are 7 contents in total, and I want you to remember that 2 contents out of 7 are different in both the lung roots, and the remaining 5 contents are similar in both the lungs. Okay, now we will keep it here along with the diagram paper, and we will mark with this sequence only. Okay, we will follow this sequence and we will mark. Now, first thing before marking, I want you to remember one more thing, a very, very important thing that I have already mentioned in the previous lung anatomy videos. Since we are studying lungs, and lungs are the organs which purify blood and oxygen, here the arteries are in blue color because they carry deoxygenated blood to the lung, from the body to the lung, and the pulmonary or veins would be red in color because the pulmonary veins are carrying blood from the lung to the what? To the body system. Pulmonary veins are in red color. Okay, this box is showing you that it is in red color, and pulmonary arteries are in blue color. Please remember the theory behind this. As I told you, the pulmonary arteries carry the deoxygenated blood from the body to the lungs. Okay, and the veins carry the oxygenated blood from the lungs to the body. So you can also keep a mnemonic which is LBO. LBO. Okay, and here it will be BLD. I'll tell you the meaning. LBO matlab L is for lungs, B is for body, and O is oxygenated. So veins carry oxygenated blood from the lungs to the body. So oxygenated blood from LB. So from the lungs to the body. Whereas pulmonary arteries carry deoxygenated blood, D for deoxygenated blood from the body to the lungs. That's it. That is why it is blue, and that is why veins are red. This is the case only seen in lungs. In the remaining parts of the body, all the arteries are in red color and the veins are in blue color. Only here in lungs it is vice versa. Okay, now as we start drawing, I will ask you which color for which one, and you have to try to guess. Either comment down the answer in the comment section below or say the answer to yourself loudly. Okay, so the very first thing that we would be drawing is the pulmonary artery. Now, pulmonary artery should be in which color? Which color should I be picking up? As mentioned here, it should be blue. So, in the left side, make the pulmonary artery here. That is one pulmonary artery in the left side, and on to the right side, please leave a little gap at the upper part and draw the pulmonary artery here. Just a little gap for another structure to be made. I'll tell you what that structure is later. Okay, but just remember that when you're making the pulmonary artery in the left side, you have to make it in the topmost area, but when you're making it on the right side, then you have to make it after leaving some gap here. All right, then next up we have the pulmonary plexus. Okay, now plexus is what? Plexus is a group of nerves together, right? For example, we have seen brachial plexus in the upper limb. So plexus should be in which color? Nerves. So nerves are in yellow, right? I have already taken video about which color should be which content in anatomy basics video, which is in my playlist. I will add the link to that in my description. So pulmonary plexus, we have anterior and posterior on both the side. So now simple, there is one logic. That is why I taught you which is anterior and which is posterior. So this part, this long thing, okay, the long things that you see here are the plexus, all right, on both the side. So this part on the left side, first we are drawing the left side. The bulged part is anterior, so this will be the anterior plexus. I'll just color it also on the same time. So anterior plexus, whereas the posterior side is this one. This is the posterior plexus. Okay, so repeating again, this bulged part is the anterior side, right? So this is the anterior pulmonary plexus, and this is the posterior side, so posterior pulmonary plexus. For right root of lung, this bulged part is anterior, so anterior pulmonary plexus, and this part is posterior, so posterior pulmonary plexus. We have done two, right? We have done the pulmonary artery, pulmonary plexus. Now we have the pulmonary veins. Okay, there is one more method in which you can remember the contents of lung. We have three pulmonaries. Okay, so first of all, you remember pulmonary. So pulmonary artery, pulmonary plexus, pulmonary veins. So it's like pulmonary artery, veins, plexus, or plexus and veins and artery. Any way you can remember, but just remember there are three pulmonaries. One is artery, of course, one is nerve, then nerve is what? Group of nerves, so plexus, and then one is veins. Okay, now artery is only one, plexus are two, anterior and posterior, and pulmonary veins are also two on each side, superior and inferior. Now let us make the pulmonary veins. Now tell me which color would be pulmonary veins. As mentioned here, it will be red color. That is because it carries oxygenated blood to the body. So these two over here, just in front of the plexus, you will have the pulmonary veins. Okay, now this one is superior or inferior? Okay, I'll make the another one also and then you tell me. And this is the another one. Okay, so when you make the diagram, after making the plexus, just in front of the plexus, you make two vessels, that is the pulmonary veins. Now tell me, according to this diagram, what is superior and which is the inferior one? So this is the superior one, right? This is the superior and this one is the inferior. So superior, inferior, right? Similarly on the right side, I'll just mark on the right side also, just in front of the plexus and then below the first one. So on the left side, superior pulmonary vein, inferior pulmonary vein. Here, superior pulmonary vein, inferior pulmonary vein. Okay, before going into further diagram, first let's label these three things. Okay, so what are the three things that we studied? The pulmonary artery, the pulmonary plexus, and the pulmonary vein, right? So we will label them. So let's label them. The first thing was pulmonary artery, which is in blue color, this one. So pulmonary artery. See here, I have written ANT and POST. ANT is anterior, POST is posterior. Similarly, in veins, SUP is superior and INF is inferior. Okay, please do not get confused. So, pulmonary artery. I will mark this side also afterwards. First, I'll mark this side. Then we have this one. Which side is this? It is a posterior plexus. Sorry. It's the pulmonary plexus, right? Which side? Bulged side. So, anterior. So, anterior, I'll mark it as ANT. Okay, ANT dot means anterior. Pulmonary plexus. Cool. Then we have this thing, which is the third one, which is the pulmonary vein in red color. Okay, one more thing. Okay, so this is anterior pulmonary plexus. Now here, this is posterior, POST dot, that is posterior pulmonary plexus. Okay, so let's do one thing. This is also posterior, right? For the right side, this one is the posterior plexus. So we'll make the common labeling here. So posterior plexus for both. And then we have the pulmonary vein, which is superior and inferior. So obviously, which is superior? Upper one. So superior. Inferior is the lower one. So we'll just go like, we'll mark it here. We'll come like this and superior pulmonary vein. And this one will come a little more down, inferior pulmonary, there is no space, pulmo, I'll put pulmo and then vein. Okay, pulmo is pulmonary, do not get confused. So superior pulmonary vein, inferior pulmonary vein. So we have marked and labeled and drawn 3 structures in the root of lung. Next up, I will just label this part and come back. Now I have labeled these 3 parts on both the sides. Okay, at last I will also color these labelings into the same color so that you do not get confused. So at the last, when we revise, I would color these and then come back and revise to you. Okay, now the next thing, that is the 4th thing, is the bronchial artery. I told you that there are only 2 structures out of 7 structures that are different, right? So what do? Bronchial artery. Now how will you exactly remember the bronchial artery? Obviously, I told only for pulmonary the colors are different. For bronchial or for any other arteries, it is not different. So what would you pick up? The red color. I already picked it up. So red color for the bronchial artery. Now in the right side, we have only 1 bronchial artery. But on the left side, we have 2 bronchial arteries. So right side 1, left side 2. So right side 1, left side 2. L2 R1. Okay, R1, right side only 1 bronchial artery, left side 2 bronchial arteries. Now where are they? When we were talking about the pulmonary veins, we said that just in front of the pulmonary plexus, just in front of the anterior pulmonary plexus, we had the superior and inferior pulmonary vein. Similarly, just in front of the posterior pulmonary veins, we have the bronchial arteries. Now, first of all, we'll go for left as always. So, we have 2 bronchial arteries, right? Here I have made 3. There are totally 3 vessels. So what is vessel actually? Vessel means veins and arteries all together. So veins and arteries together are known as vessels. So here we have 2 bronchial arteries. Cool. This is 1 and then 2. 2 bronchial arteries here. And you can also make a vessel here, which is your bronchial vessel. So just make it here. Even if you forget this, it will not cause any problem, but you have to make sure to remember the bronchial arteries. Similarly, on the left side, we have one bronchial artery. So only one, just in front of the posterior plexus. And we have another structure, which is your green color structure, which is the bronchial vessel. Again, if you forget also, no problem, but try not to. So two bronchial arteries in the left side and one bronchial artery on the right side. This is the first different content structure that we have seen in the roots of lung. Then the second thing is bronchus. So I will help you with another thing, another hack to remember which are the two structures that are different in right side and left side. They are B and B. Bronchio. So they are related to bronchus. Okay, so bronchial artery and bronchus. These are the only two things that are different in the right side of the root, that is right root, and the left root. So bronchial arteries, bronchus. B and B. Okay, bronchial arteries, bronchus. Now we have already done the bronchial artery part. 2 on the left side, that is L2, and 1 on the right side, that is R1. Now talking about the bronchus. It is opposite of bronchial artery. Okay, two things that you have to remember is two structures that are different from each other in the root of lungs are bronchial and bronchus. So bronchial arteries and bronchus. On the left side, we have two bronchial arteries, and right side we have only one bronchial artery. Similarly, when we talk about the bronchus, it's vice versa, or it is totally reciprocated. See, on the right side, we only had one bronchial artery, right? But here, in case of bronchus, left side would have only one bronchus. So just cross it out. And right side will have two bronchus. So when it comes to artery, right side will have only one bronchial artery, left side will have two bronchial arteries. But when it comes to bronchus, right side will have two and left side will have one. Okay, so now bronchus has to be colored in gray. Since you do not know that, I'm already mentioning it on my own. So bronchus, talking on the left side, we made the bronchial vessels, right? Just in front of that, there is a vessel, which is the bronchial artery. So you just color it with gray. If you do not have gray color, you can also color it with your pencil, because your pencil is gray. Okay, and now left is done. I want you to come on to the right side. Now can you please go back a little and recap that I told you before making the pulmonary artery? Please leave some space. I told you, right? Why did we leave the space? We left the space for the bronchus. Okay, now before making the diagram on the right side, I told you we have two bronchus, right? Eparterial and hyparterial. There are two bronchus, which is eparterial and hyparterial. Eparterial and hyparterial. So EP will come above. Okay, and hype will come below. How will you remember this? Do you know the vowels in English? A, E, I, O, U. So remember the first two vowels in English, which is A, E. So A for above and E for eparterial. So A, E vowel, the first two vowels are A, E. A is for above, E is for eparterial. So of course, when you mark this as eparterial, definitely this one will be hyparterial, right? So eparterial is above, that is the mnemonic is A, E from the vowels, and hyparterial is below. So the space that we left was for the eparterial bronchus. Okay, so eparterial bronchus. And below that, here in front of the plexus, we have the hyparterial bronchus. So again, I'm repeating. Eparterial is above, hyparterial is below in the right side. But on the left side, we only have one bronchus, which is just in front of the bronchial arteries. Okay, so bronchus here, which is also known as principal bronchus on the left side. Okay, now let us label them before going into the last two contents. Cool. So I told you there is only one bronchial artery in the what? In the right side. So we will mention it together, but the only thing is here we have two. So we will make a common arrow like this. Okay, do not get confused. It's easy if you understand. So it is bronchial arteries. Okay, I'll darken it more so that you do not get confused. Cool. And the other thing is, we have done one bronchus, right? So remember it as bronch. So bronchial artery is done. Another dissimilarity between two roots of lung is bronchus. So on the left side, see here, we have two arteries here, two bronchial arteries. So bronchus will only be one. That is how I said you to remember, right? So mark it here and let's go above. So this is bronchus, and as I mentioned, also known as principal bronchus. Okay, and then on the right side we have two bronchus. What are the names? The above one is, tell me. Yes, eparterial. So eparterial, eparterial bronchus. See, nothing, just add ep and then arterial. Okay, so eparterial bronchus. And this one, just bring it here. Hype, there it was ep, here it is hype. Hype arterial bronchus. That's it. So we are done with 5 contents, and now we will go for the last 2. Coming on to the last 2 contents, they are very easy. See, as I told you, out of the 7 contents, only 2 are dissimilar, and we are done with those 2. Now we have the 2 remainings which are similar in both the sides. So it will be very, very easy. Again, for lymph nodes also, you will mark it in gray. Okay, so this one in the right side and here onto the left side. What is this? Onto the left side in gray color, onto the right side in gray color. What is this? It is lymph vessels and nodes. What exactly is lymph vessels and nodes? They are a part of the lymphatic drainage system. In this, the lymph fluids get drained up. Okay, this is what is lymphatic nodes and vessels. Cool. Then the last one, which is the last one and the 7th one, is the areolar tissues. Now the areolar tissue here, remember, are in yellow color, pale yellow color. Since I do not have pale yellow color, I only have one yellow, so we will use the same thing. So in the very lowermost part of the root of lung, that is, this P structure is there, no? The very lowermost part is the areolar tissue. So we will mark it like this and we will color it. It's gonna be like this. So this is the areolar tissue. So let's mark them. These structures over here, you just bring it down. From here also, bring it down. Okay. I'll just darken it so that you are not confused. Okay, so it will be the lymphatic vessels and nodes. And then the last one is the areolar tissue. So it is common. So we'll just mark them together. So areolar, A-R-E-O, areolar, L-A-R, areolar tissue. That's it. That is all about the labeling and drawing of this particular diagram, which is the roots of lung. Okay, so I have done the marking and I have marked all the labelings according to their color of the structure. Okay, so whatever the structure's color is, the same color I have marked the labelings with. So when you look into the diagram, it will be easier for you to understand and it will not confuse you. So that is all about the labeling and how to make the diagram. If you remember it like this, you will remember it for a longer period of time. And lung is a very important subject and very important field both for medicals and paramedicals. So you must remember all these things. Okay, so that is all about the roots of lung. I hope you understood the concept. I hope I made it a little easier for you. And if there is any doubts or any comments, please comment down in the comment section below. Also, if you liked this video, give this video a thumbs up. Share this to your friends and to the circle, the medical and paramedical circle. And also, do not forget to subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.